Next question you should always ask as well is it truly, or are your articles truly objective? So while many articles are completely objective and impersonal, and this is one of the other great qualities about journalism, is that they are always impersonal in most cases, some do indicate bias or emotion. Some do indicate either an emotional way that is essentially their own comment, their own opinion, or their own bias as well. If you have a look at that image there, then this is one of the ways that often news is considered to be biased or sort of aimed one way or the other, which is liberal and conservative. Liberal basically means that everything must change. Everyone needs the ultimate freedom to be able to do whatever they want. Conservative is nothing should change. Everything should remain the same. Let's adopt as many old values as we can. And these two often sort of get caught up and they mix one way or the other. And certainly in Australia we have, while we're a little bit more in the middle than most other places in the world, we do have a left and a right of people who believe everything should change and people who thinks that Australia is fine as it is. And that's not necessarily to say one side or the other is right, or even if the middle is right. It's just to indicate where the bias is lying. So this bias can be seen in a way that, in any way, that a journalist adds a personal opinion, be it political, social, cultural, religious, or ideological. Okay, so, and often this does happen. For instance, if you're looking at how a crime is reported, for instance, then you often see a sort of a bias towards us looking down upon whoever has committed that crime, even if they're not exactly been accused yet. Also, not if they've been charged yet. It is essentially a trial by media, and even though they are indicating or they're reporting on it in a personal way, there's still enough of their personal opinion that sort of comes through the words that makes us think one way or the other, and it does appear to be biased in one particular way. Now, that bias is not necessarily an unfair bias, especially if you're someone who has broken the law. Then you've got to expect that people will be unhappy with you, and certainly the news media, particularly in trying to connect with other people who are reading their papers, will want to reach out to people and also make them feel like, oh, this is a really bad man and he deserves to go to jail, or whatever the case may be. So there is a sort of a tinge of personal opinion, even if it's not directly stated. You must always analyse what effect this bias has, if any, on the trustworthiness and the validity of the article. So as I said, it may not necessarily invalidate what's being said. It will contribute obviously to it being invalid if it is. But the one thing you need to be especially is critical, as in think about really carefully, does it actually affect whether this is trustworthy or not, whether I can trust this opinion. Do they use enough evidence that no matter how biased it is, at least they've bothered to use evidence and they've actually given us a fairly decent argument to prove their point of view. Now, obviously, if you're looking at it that way, you're thinking more of a feature article than you are thinking about a newspaper article, and that's absolutely true. But sometimes newspaper articles can go in that direction, and they can go towards being more of an opinion piece, even though they're sort of written as a newspaper article and written in the way that's supposed to be impersonal and unbiased. So, and they do it to essentially emotionally connect with people. So that line is overlapping a little bit, particularly as it is trying to get people to read the article, and especially in the modern age where we've got online media and online newspapers, it is trying to get people to click on the article.